There are moments in life when the pain feels endless, when your heart breaks in silence, and you wonder if anyone truly understands what you're going through. You cry at night, asking, why me? Why this pain? Why now? But listen carefully. Your pain is not a punishment, it's a preparation. It's shaping you, refining you, and teaching you something only the broken-hearted can understand. That Allah's strength is greater than every pain you feel. Every tear you shed is seen. Every silent prayer is heard. And every time you say, I trust you. While your world feels like it's falling apart, you are being elevated. Because faith isn't tested in comfort, it's tested in chaos. The pain you feel today might be the very reason you become stronger tomorrow. There will be moments when you feel forgotten, when doors close, when your plans collapse one by one. But remember, Allah never takes without giving back something greater. He removes not to destroy you, but to protect you. He delays not to punish you, but to prepare you. Every no you hear in life is leading you to the better, yes, that you cannot yet see. So, when your heart feels weak, whisper this to yourself. My strength is not mine, it comes from Allah. Because when you fall on your knees and call upon Him, you're not weak, you're the strongest you've ever been. That's the power of trust, tawakkul, to believe that even in darkness, the light of His mercy is near. The storms you face are not meant to break you, they're meant to wake you, to pull you closer to the one who can calm every storm with a single command. Be, and it is. You might not understand His wisdom right now, but someday you'll look back and realize every pain was a step toward peace. So, don't give up. Don't let your pain define you. Let it remind you that your Creator's plan is far greater than your struggle. Keep trusting, keep praying, because the one who carried you this far will never abandon you now. And maybe, just maybe, the pain you're enduring right now is the very thing that's bringing you closer to paradise. Pain, it's something every soul knows, yet no one truly wants to experience. It comes quietly, settles deeply, and often feels endless. But in the grand design of life, pain is not forever. It is temporary, fleeting, and purposeful. It's not meant to destroy you. It's meant to shape you into something greater. Every hardship, every tear, every sleepless night carries within it a divine message that says, you are not forgotten. When life breaks you down, it is often preparing you for a version of yourself that only trials can reveal. Pain is not a curse, it's a call. A call from your Creator, reminding you to pause, reflect, and turn back to Him. Many times we ask, why me? We look at others and think they're living without pain, but the truth is, every heart carries its own burden. What you see on the surface rarely shows the battles within. But for the believer, pain is never wasted. When your heart aches, it softens. When you cry in prayer, your soul cleanses. When you endure, you rise. That's the hidden mercy behind every hardship. It brings you closer to the one who never leaves. It takes you away from the noise of the world and makes you hear the silent voice of your own soul, calling upon Him. Pain teaches patience like nothing else can. It humbles the arrogant heart. It softens the hardest souls. It reminds you that you are dependent, not on people, not on wealth, not on strength, but on Allah alone. And when you finally realize that, peace begins to enter where pain once lived. Every test has a reason, even if you can't see it now. Sometimes, what feels like a storm is the very rain that will make your heart bloom. The door that closed may have been the one that would have led you to harm. The people who walked away may have been removed for your protection. Allah's plan is not always visible, but His mercy is always present. When pain strikes, it doesn't just break you, it purifies you. It strips away the illusions you held onto and reminds you of what truly matters. It's easy to believe when life is kind, but true faith is believing when nothing makes sense, when you're surrounded by darkness and still whisper, Alhamdulillah. That's when your soul matures. That's when your faith becomes real, because pain is the fire that refines gold. And your heart, too, must be refined through trials to shine. There are moments you think you'll never heal. You carry wounds no one sees. Yet with every sunrise, Allah writes a new chance for peace in your story. Healing doesn't always mean the pain vanishes. Sometimes it means you learn to live with it while keeping your trust alive. You start seeing the lesson instead of the loss, the wisdom instead of the wound. That's the transformation pain brings. It changes how you see the world, how you value people, and most importantly, how you understand your Creator. So, if you're walking through hardship, don't think it's the end. Think of it as a chapter that will eventually pass, just as every storm must fade. The sun will rise again, the heart will heal again, and joy will find its way back into your life. You might not understand the purpose of your pain now, but one day, when you look back, you'll see that it was never meaningless. It was the reason you grew stronger, wiser, and more connected to Allah. Remember, the same Lord who created your pain also created the cure. He never burdens a soul beyond what it can bear. Every second you endure, you are being watched, rewarded, and strengthened. So hold on. Trust that your tears are not unnoticed. Trust that behind every hardship, there's hidden mercy waiting to unfold. Pain may visit your heart, but it will never stay forever. Because Allah's strength, His wisdom, and His mercy are always greater than your pain. Trust, that's where peace truly begins. Not in control, not in knowing how everything will unfold, but in surrender. Real peace doesn't come from having a perfect life. It comes from knowing that whatever happens, your Lord has already written it with wisdom and mercy. When you trust, you stop fighting against what's destined for you. You stop questioning why things didn't go your way, and you start believing that perhaps the way you wanted wasn't what you needed. That's the beauty of trust. It replaces anxiety with acceptance and pain with purpose. When a believer says, I trust Allah, it's not just a phrase, it's a declaration of faith. It means that even when the road ahead is dark, they keep walking, believing that there's light beyond the unseen. It means that when plans collapse, the heart remains calm, because it knows the one who plans never fails. Trust is not weakness. It's the strongest form of courage. To release your grip on the illusion of control and hand it over to the Creator who already knows the outcome. Think about the moments when life broke your plans. The job that didn't come, the person who walked away, the dream that slipped through your hands. At first, it hurt. You wondered if Allah forgot you. But later, you realized that what you thought was a loss was actually protection. You were being redirected, not rejected. You were being saved from something you didn't even know could harm you. That's the secret behind every disappointment. There's mercy hidden in delay, protection hidden in rejection, and wisdom hidden in what feels like loss. True peace enters the heart the moment you stop asking, why me? And start saying, Ya Allah, I trust you. It's a shift that changes everything. Suddenly, the storms don't scare you as much. The uncertainty doesn't shake you. You start to see life differently. Not as something happening to you, but as something happening for you. You begin to notice how every hardship pushes you closer to your Lord, how every unanswered prayer is replaced by something better, and how every delay was timed perfectly for your benefit. Trusting Allah doesn't mean you'll never feel fear. It means you'll keep walking even when fear whispers that you can't. It means that when everything looks impossible, Your heart whispers, "But my Lord is capable of all things." It's choosing faith over fear, surrender over stress, patience over panic. The world may fail you, people may hurt you, and time may test you, but Allah never disappoints those who put their trust in Him. The human heart is fragile. It craves certainty. It seeks control. It fears the unknown. But life was never meant to be certain. It was meant to remind you that control belongs only to Allah. The more you rely on Him, the less you'll need to rely on outcomes. The more you place your trust in His plan, the lighter your burdens become. That's because trust doesn't remove problems, it removes the weight of worrying about them. When you rely on Him completely, you stop chasing peace. It finds you. There's a quiet strength that comes from trusting Allah. A strength that doesn't need explanations, doesn't demand answers, and doesn't rush timing. You simply say, "I know you will handle this, even if I can't see how." And that faith becomes your anchor in the storm. Even when everything around you changes, that trust keeps you steady. You realize that nothing is random, nothing is wasted. Every delay, every heartbreak, every closed door is carrying you towards something meant just for you. When the Prophet's companions faced loss, pain, and fear, they didn't lose faith. They strengthened it because they knew that Allah's promise is true. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Trust turns that verse into a living reality. You start to look at hardship and say, "Ease is near." You begin to see hope even in hurt. That's the power of tawakkul. It transforms pain into patience and fear into faith. So, no matter what you're facing, hold your trust tightly. Even if the path looks uncertain, even if the heart feels tired, keep believing that Allah is working in ways you cannot yet see. Because when your trust in Him becomes unshakable, peace follows like a shadow that never leaves. Your world may still be filled with challenges, but inside, your heart will rest, not because everything is perfect, but because you've placed it in the hands of the One who is. Every struggle you face is not a random hardship. It's a spiritual test designed specifically for you, crafted with wisdom, measured with precision, and filled with hidden mercy. Struggles are not sent to break you, but to bring out the strength that lies deep within your soul. They are a reminder that this world is temporary, that comfort here is not the goal, and that true peace lies only in nearness to the Creator. Life's trials are not signs of Allah's anger, but often signs of His love. Because through struggle, He purifies the heart, humbles the ego, and draws the believer closer to Him. When the heart is tested, it reveals its true state. In comfort, faith is easy. In pain, faith is proven. That is why struggles are called ibtila, a trial meant to show who you really are, to uncover your sincerity and patience. It's easy to say, "I believe," when everything goes right, but it's in those moments when nothing makes sense that belief becomes real. The pain you carry, the tears you shed, the nights you can't sleep, all of it is seen, all of it is counted, and all of it is rewarded. Not a single sigh escapes your lips without meaning in the sight of Allah. When you go through a struggle, you are not being punished, you are being purified. Allah cleanses your soul through difficulty the same way gold is purified through fire. It burns, it hurts, but it removes what doesn't belong and leaves behind something pure, strong, and beautiful. Every test washes away a portion of sin, polishes your heart, and elevates your status. Sometimes you think you're being pushed to your limits, but in reality, you're being lifted to a higher rank. The pain that makes you bow in prayer is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of your spiritual awakening. Struggles are a classroom for the soul. They teach lessons that comfort never could. They teach humility. Because when you can't fix everything, you remember that you are not in control. They teach gratitude, because when life is hard, you start appreciating the small blessings you used to overlook. They teach patience, the kind that doesn't just wait, but waits with faith. Through struggle, you learn to rely on Allah in ways you never did before. And that reliance, that tawakkul, is what makes the believer unshakable. Sometimes, your struggle isn't meant to change your situation, it's meant to change you. It's meant to strengthen your heart, sharpen your faith, and prepare you for the next chapter of your journey. Every soul that rises must first go through hardship, because greatness is not built in comfort. Even the prophets, the most beloved of Allah's servants, were tested with pain, loss, rejection, and trials beyond imagination. Yet they stood firm, their faith shining brightest in the darkest moments. Their stories remind us that struggle is a pathway, not a punishment. When you are tested, remember, Allah never tests a soul beyond what it can bear. If He placed you in the storm, it means He knows you have the strength to endure it. And every moment you choose faith over despair, patience over anger, hope over fear, your soul rises higher. Angels record every moment you hold back tears and still say, Alhamdulillah. Every time your heart breaks, but you choose to trust His plan anyway, you earn a reward greater than you can imagine. One day, you'll look back and realize that the very struggle that made you cry also made you closer to Allah. It purified your heart, made your prayers deeper, and your faith stronger. It stripped away the layers of dependence on people and made you depend only on Him. That's what struggle is meant to do, to cleanse your soul of everything that distracts you from your Creator, and to remind you that true peace is found only in His remembrance. So, don't see your pain as a barrier, see it as a bridge. Don't see your tears as weakness. See them as a form of worship, because every struggle is a message from Allah saying, come back to me. I am still here. I am still in control. And when you finally surrender, when you stop fighting and start trusting, you'll find that the pain didn't destroy you. It transformed you. You'll emerge from it softer, wiser, and stronger in faith. Your struggles are not meaningless. They are your spiritual training, your purification, and your elevation. Each test brings you one step closer to Jannah, one step closer to peace, and one step closer to the one who loves you more than you can imagine. So, endure with patience, hold your head high, and remember, your struggles today are the very reasons your soul will shine tomorrow. Faith is not built in moments of ease, it's forged in the fire of difficulty. When everything in life feels smooth, faith remains silent. But when pain strikes, when plans collapse, when the world turns its back on you, that's when faith begins to speak. It whispers hope when the heart feels empty. It reminds you of purpose when the world feels meaningless. It becomes your anchor when everything else falls apart. The truth is, faith doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in chaos. It strengthens when you are tested, when your patience is stretched, and when you have nowhere to turn but to Allah. When life hurts, your faith is given a chance to rise above your fear. Think about it. It's easy to say, I believe, when life is going well. But the real test comes when belief is the only thing you have left. When your prayers seem unanswered, when your heart is breaking, when you're standing in the middle of a storm, that's when faith becomes real. It's not about feeling strong, it's about holding on even when you feel weak. Faith in difficulty is not loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's just the quiet whisper of, I trust you, your Allah. Through trembling lips and tearful eyes, every challenge you face is a chance for your faith to evolve. It's an invitation to go deeper, to not just know Allah, but to truly experience Him. Because it's in hardship that you start seeing His mercy in ways you never noticed before. You begin to realize that even in your darkest moments, there's guidance, protection, and love surrounding you. You notice how somehow, even when you thought you couldn't survive, He carried you through. That realization is faith growing stronger. Faith that no longer depends on outcomes, but on trust. When your heart breaks and you still pray, that's faith growing. When you lose something dear but still say, Alhamdulillah, that's faith maturing. When you face fear yet keep walking forward, believing that Allah is with you, that's faith shining brighter than ever before. Every difficulty is like a mirror showing you where you truly stand with your Creator. It's not meant to destroy your faith, but to deepen it. It's as if Allah is saying, you say you believe, now let me show you what that belief can truly become. Faith, in its purest form, is not the absence of pain, it's the ability to trust through it. It's believing in unseen goodness when everything visible looks impossible. It's refusing to let despair win, even when your heart feels crushed. Every time you rise from hardship, your faith gains new strength. It becomes more resilient, more humble, more beautiful. Because the strongest faith doesn't come from having everything go right. It comes from surviving everything that went wrong and still choosing to believe. Difficult times are not punishments, they are classrooms for your soul. They teach you patience, humility, and the art of surrender. They remind you that faith isn't a feeling that disappears when life is painful. It's a choice you make every single day. It's saying, even if I don't understand this now, I trust that Allah has a plan. And when you hold on to that, you'll notice something miraculous. Peace begins to return, even if nothing around you changes. Because peace is not the absence of hardship, it's the presence of faith within it. Look at the people who have gone through the greatest tests. They are often the ones with the deepest hearts and the strongest belief. Their faith shines not because they had easy lives, but because they walked through pain without letting go of their Lord. That's the kind of faith that lights up the darkness, the kind that gives hope to others who are suffering, the kind that inspires people to keep trusting even when life hurts. So when you find yourself in pain, don't think your faith is dying. It might actually be growing. It's being stretched, refined, and strengthened in ways you cannot yet see. Sometimes Allah allows your faith to be shaken so it can take deeper roots. The storms you face are not meant to uproot your belief, but to plant it firmly where no wind can ever move it again. Hold on to that truth. When life hurts the most, that's when your faith is being built. Keep praying, even if it's with tears. Keep believing, even when you don't see the way. Because faith that survives pain becomes unbreakable. And a heart that trusts through darkness becomes a heart illuminated by divine light. And when the storm finally passes, you'll realize that what kept you standing all along wasn't your strength. It was your faith. Patience is one of the most powerful forms of worship, yet it's also one of the hardest. It's easy to stay calm when life is smooth, but real patience appears when the heart is hurting and the soul feels restless. It's in those moments when you could complain, but choose silence, when you could give up, but choose to trust. That's when patience becomes an act of faith. Every trial you endure, every tear you hold back for the sake of Allah is not lost. It's being recorded, counted, and preserved for a reward far beyond this world. No pain you go through is ever wasted. It's all part of a divine plan where patience becomes the key that unlocks doors of mercy, blessings, and peace. Patience isn't just waiting for things to get better. It's how you behave while waiting. It's your attitude when life tests you. It's the calmness in your heart when everything around you feels chaotic. True patience doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It means you don't let that pain turn you away from your Lord. You may cry, you may feel broken, but if deep inside you keep saying, Allah knows what's best for me, that's the essence of patience. It's quiet strength, the kind that keeps you walking when you feel like falling. Every moment you hold on with patience, you're being purified. Every second you resist despair, your soul is being lifted. Allah promises that He is with the patient, not just watching them, but with them. His mercy surrounds the one who endures with faith. When you're patient, you're not losing time. You're gaining closeness to Him. Every second of your endurance is like planting a seed in the soil of your soul, and soon it will bloom into peace, strength, and reward. Sometimes patience is tested not in huge tragedies, but in small, everyday struggles. Waiting for prayers to be answered, holding back anger when someone wrongs you, staying calm when life feels unfair. Those little moments matter more than you think. They build your spiritual muscles, teaching you to rely on Allah instead of reacting with emotion. The Prophet says, peace be upon him, said that patience is light, and indeed it is. Because patience doesn't just carry you through hardship, it changes how you see it. It allows you to find meaning in what once felt meaningless. Patience opens doors that nothing else can. When you respond to pain with faith instead of frustration, Allah opens ways for you that you never expected. He replaces what you lost with something better. He heals wounds you thought would never close. And He elevates your status in ways you could never earn through comfort alone. The reward for patience is not only in the hereafter, it's also in the peace that enters your heart in this life. When you choose patience, you're not just waiting for relief, you're living in surrender, and that surrender itself becomes a blessing. Sometimes you might feel like your patience is running out. You might think, I've waited so long and nothing has changed. But remember, even the waiting itself is part of the test. Allah delays not because He forgets, but because He knows the right moment to grant what you ask for. Every delay has a reason. Maybe He's protecting you from something you can't see. Maybe He's teaching you something your heart needs before the blessing arrives. Maybe He's simply increasing your reward through every moment you stay patient. The longer you hold on, the greater the return. And when you finally see how everything was written with wisdom, how every pain, every tear, every disappointment led you exactly where you were meant to be, you'll realize that patience was never a burden. It was your bridge to peace. It was the rope that connected your heart to your Creator when the world tried to pull you apart. It was the unseen strength that carried you when you thought you had none left. So, if you're waiting, keep waiting with faith. If you're hurting, keep enduring with hope, because Allah is not unaware of your struggle. He sees every moment you fight your nafs, every second you hold your tongue, every tear that falls in silence. One day, all of it will make sense. One day you'll see the beauty behind every delay and the mercy behind every pain. And on that day, you'll smile through tears and say, it was worth it. Because patience was not just about surviving the hardship, it was about growing through it, trusting through it, and earning the eternal reward that was waiting all along. A believer's strength is unlike any other. It doesn't come from power, money, or status. It doesn't come from confidence in worldly things or the comfort of human support. True strength, the kind that never breaks, comes from Allah alone. When a believer stands firm while the world shakes around them, it's not because they're fearless. It's because they're connected to the one who gives courage. When they walk through pain and loss with calm hearts, it's not because they're numb, but because they know that the one who controls every heartbeat will never leave them alone. That connection, That unwavering trust is what makes the believer unshakable. Worldly strength fades. The strongest body can weaken. The sharpest mind can forget. The loudest voice can go silent. But the strength that comes from Allah only grows stronger with every hardship. It's a strength built on faith, patience, and surrender. It's the kind of strength that makes you rise even after being knocked down, that makes you smile even with tears in your eyes, that keeps you saying, Alhamdulillah, when nothing seems right. Because a believer knows, life is not about control, it's about connection. When you are connected to Allah, you can lose everything and still stand tall. There are moments when the heart feels empty, when everything you relied on is gone. People walk away, plans fall apart, dreams disappear. That's when divine strength takes over. It's the invisible force that whispers, keep going. You may not see it, but you feel it deep inside. The peace that shouldn't exist in chaos, the hope that shouldn't exist in pain. That's the power of faith. That's what happens when your strength is rooted in the one who never changes. Believers are not strong because they don't struggle. They are strong because they never face their struggles alone. They cry, they fall, but every time they do, they turn back to the one who heals. They don't rely on themselves. They rely on the strength that flows through prayer, through patience, through remembrance. When they say, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil, Allah is enough for us, and He is the best disposer of affairs. They find power in surrender, because strength is not in resisting the storm, it's in trusting the one who can calm it with a single command. A believer's strength doesn't shout. It's quiet, humble, and unshakable. It doesn't come from arrogance or pride, but from peace. The peace of knowing that everything happens with Allah's permission. Even when life feels unfair, even when the pain seems endless, the believer stays firm because they know the one who gives the test also gives the strength to bear it. That's the secret behind their calmness. They don't rely on the temporary, they rely on the eternal. When you find your strength in Allah, fear loses its power. Worry fades. The heart becomes steady because it knows that whatever is written will unfold exactly as it should. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, Wa Allah, help me through this. You stop fighting the path and start trusting the destination. And the more you trust, the more strength you gain. Because the moment you surrender to His will, your heart becomes free from everything else. This divine strength doesn't make life easy. It makes you capable. It doesn't remove the pain. It gives you the ability to endure it with grace. It doesn't stop the storms. It teaches you how to find calm in the middle of them. The believer's strength is not loud like the world's strength. It's quiet, steady, and eternal. It's in every breath you take with patience, every prayer you make in hope, every time you choose to trust instead of complain. The world might see you as fragile, but Allah sees you as strong. Every hardship you survive, every tear you shed, every trial you face, it's adding to your spiritual strength. You may not feel it now, but every time you say, I can't do this without you, Ya Allah, you are becoming stronger than you've ever been. Because divine strength doesn't come from what you can handle. It comes from what you hand over to Him. So when life overwhelms you, don't look for strength in people or things. Look within your heart where your connection with Allah lies. That's where true power resides. Remember, the one who split the sea for Musa's Ayest, who protected Yunus Ayest in the belly of the whale, who cooled the fire for Ibrahim's Ayest, that same Lord is with you right now. His strength flows through your faith. You just need to trust it, feel it, and live by it. Because when your strength comes from Allah, there's nothing in this world that can defeat you.